What's up, everybody? We got a super exciting video for today. In the blog, they announced the Black Cat trial restrictions. So we're going to go through the restrictions one by one. We're going to look at the teams. We're going to talk about the prep node that Node wanted, who we might be prepping. Some really interesting ideas there. I'm super excited for this trial because of these restrictions. But before that, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsors, Into the AM. I want to give a huge thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Into the AM. If you're a fan of the channel, you know I love this company. The fit, the feel, the comfort, the quality of their clothing is unbeatable. 10 out of 10. My drawer is full of it, my wife's drawer is full of it, and even my son is getting in on the action now. I want to share with you some of the sales they have coming up. So from August 11th to the 14th, they have a best sellers flash sale up to 30% off on their best sellers. And you'll see some amazing graphics here. I really like the Saturn Run tee and the Mixtape tee. I actually already own one of these, but my son wants one. He already has the Volcano one, but he wants another one. From August 17th to the 18th, they have packs up to 40% off. And August 22nd to the 28th, they're going to have a huge clearance sale up to 95% off. But that's not all. Make sure you use my code DORKEY for an additional 10% off. It also lets them know that I sent you, so I'd really appreciate you using that code. Stay inspired, pick up some Into the AM merch. You will not regret it. And let's get back into the episode. Here we are, and we finally know what we're walking into with the Black Cat trial. We know the restrictions on the nodes, and we've gone through them here on Twitch chat, and they look really freaking cool. Actually, I think this is going to be like theory crafting at its absolute best. I'm super excited to tackle this challenge, and you're going to see why as we go through this. First of all, mission number 1, no restrictions. We've gone through the nodes, and there are so many interesting characters to prepare using these nodes. Because there's no restrictions, it's much easier to prepare these characters. You think about Global Controller, my mind immediately goes to Storm. Get Storm all of her charges so that she can ult turn 1 and just annihilate people. There's also somebody like Omega Red having his ult available turn 1 to say flip a bunch of defense ups into defense downs for Storm to then come and ult into defense down. Very interesting. Mystic villains, we got people like Dormammu, we got people like Heartless, Strange, very cool. The Nowhere team, we got Infinity War Thor, who with his ultimate gives offense down and defense down for 2 turns. That would be a devastating opening ability. Think about doing that and then doing Nova's ultimate with offense up. That would annihilate a wave. So that's a very cool idea. And then Brawlers, we have Red Hulk, Quicksilver, Deathpool, get her charges up the same way we've got Storm so she can one-shot somebody. Like, what if there's a Super Skrull on the last node? They put Apocalypse on the last node of the Nova trials. Why wouldn't they put a Super Skrull on the last node of the Black Cat trials? And your Deathpool goes in there and one-shots him, because that'd be freaking hilarious. And you go in there with nobody that has any sort of buffs and doesn't do debuffs. And Deathpool, your fastest character. And Deathpool kills Super Skrull before he gets a turn. How awesome would that be for us? So very cool things we can talk about there. We're gonna go look at all the kits in a little bit. But those are some of the possibilities that instantly jump out at me. So as far as missions 2, 6, and 10 go, we have our Nowhere team with our Sinister Six team. If we go over and we check those characters, it's weird. The Sinister Six characters don't even show up because don't use Sinister Six characters. Listen, we already did a video on this. The stat differences between all these characters, with the exception of Swarm, is insane, and Swarm will kill himself alone. Not to mention, everything these Nowhere characters bring to the table is huge. The only way this will be different is if we need a burner team. Like, maybe there's some sort of crazy, stupid team, like, I don't know, a Dorm that starts his ultimate up. Who knows? Who knows what the case may be? Maybe we need to go in there and do a burn attack, right? We throw Sinister Six, we throw them to the wolves and they die. That might be their only use. Or if there's a pack that says, you know, Sinister Six allies get 4,000% stats. I'm exaggerating, but they would need about 150% extra stats in order to work. Nowhere is slow, I was just pointed out, but they're also sturdy. They're very, very sturdy. So I think for 2, 6, and 10, it's pretty obvious this is going to be the majority of your team. Again, I can see Sinister Six being used as a sacrificial lamb for one node, but even as good as Doc Ock's kit is, I don't think he can replace what any of these characters do here. Cosmo does much bigger heals, on-spot heals, as well as buffs. Korg, Taunt, Revives, Nova, everything AoE, huge damage. Startled Annihilation, Blinds. He also does really good damage. It just doesn't feel like he does good damage because you're normally using him against Gamma. And so it seems super less impactful. And Infinity War Thor, he's a beast. He's a beast. And people who don't have him built up, build him up for this. You're going to really enjoy it. Yeah, there's not much else to say, guys. Nowhere's going to be the team for that. So let's go back and let's check out missions 3 and 7 now. Mystic Villain. So this is another very rich tab. So this one's tough. So we do have a bunch of Darkhold members. We got Agatha, Morgan, and Heartless. That's an interesting team. We also have a bunch of Asgardians, Sylvie, Teen Loki, and Loki. What makes me the most interested about Loki and Teen Loki and Sylvie is their on-turn heal. So they're going to heal for 15% of their life every turn. And since this is a Scourge and the nodes are going to be long, it's not going to be a 5v5 fight. So the fact that they have a lot of self-healing is very interesting. Other obviously interesting characters, we got Doctor Doom, Dormammu, Hela, very, very interesting characters. Doom and Morgan are a special case in this trial. They're usable on 4 nodes, which we're going to talk about, but there's an issue with them being usable on 4 nodes. On the node 1 to prep people, I should, like, Infinity War Thor, we got to kind of mention that. Dormammu is really the only one that interests me here, the more I think about it. Him coming in and ulting turn 1, giving everybody defense down for, say, Doctor Doom to come in and ult right on top of that, or for Hela to ult and spread all that, or for Strange to come in and ult on that if we prep Strange as well. There's some interesting things we can fight with here, or maybe Dormammu we use on the second node and Strange comes in with his ultimate after, you know, getting through the first node, and that could be a thing. So there's a lot of options here, and because I counted about 9 good characters here, maybe 10. If war bonuses are active, which I do think it will be to make Nowhere a better team, then Mr. Negative and Nobu have some very interesting implications here as well in that case. There's some cool stuff going on here. But hopefully we don't have some sort of crazy RNG check where you need to throw in a burn team that eats up like 1 billion abilities. So you got to go in there with Nobu and the hand team and you have to just keep resetting till you revive 1 billion times and pull all the cooldowns. That'd be bad, right? Let's not put that out there. I think to push high, we are going to have to formulate 2 teams out of this list. Here's the thing about this trial, and in looking at these teams, I can't formulate the best 5, the best 6, even the best 7 characters to start preparing without seeing what the nodes are. The teams that are available to us, like think about the 3 pieces, Agatha, Strange, and Morgan Le Fay, or Sylvie, Loki, and Teen Loki. Those are 2 completely different 3 pieces that do completely different things. Darkhold is clearly more powerful, but the Asgardian has interest in its own right. Depending on the enemies, the Asgardian team could be better than the Darkhold team. So it's impossible for me at this point to, like, intellectually, honestly, say, hey, this is the best team, start investing in them now. It's just not. We got to see the nodes for this. Like, if you want my advice, it's the boring advice. Start hoarding your gold and your training materials. That's what I'm doing. This is going to be interesting. This is a very, very powerful trait. All right, the next trait after that is going to be Global Controller. Global Controller is, it's interesting. So again, we have the Doctor Doom and Morgan Le Fay. They're usable in both traits. So going from node to node with both Doctor Doom ult up and Morgan Le Fay, at least one of her abilities up, that might be the trick to succeeding in this Scourge. Succeeding, not succeeding. So that'll be interesting. Prepping somebody like Omega Red on node 1 and definitely prepping Storm on node 1 is an interesting concept. But just like I was talking about before, without actually knowing the nodes, we need to know the nodes before we decide who we're going to prep. Maybe charging Storm will be completely worthless and not worth our time at all. We got a very powerful Taskmaster here with the blinds. Moonstone coming in with stuns. She's also 126 speed, I believe, so she's pretty quick, even without the speed up. Emma is, of course, an interesting character to get a speed advantage, but her stats are so crap that maybe she's only usable on one of the nodes. We got to decide which one we do there. Coulson is super interesting if they do what I think they're going to do, which is basically a pact that says, in this Scourge, all ward traits are active. So Coulson, though he is a ward defense character, maybe he gets his traits, right? So transfer all positive effects from primary target to all non-minion shield allies, flip all positive effects on primary target. I could see this being a thing that we play into. Not just for him, but we also talked briefly about Mr. Negative and Taskmaster. They obviously have some great war stuff. Omega Red getting a bunch of speed bar if there are war buffs active, that'll be interesting. And of course, this can all work against us too, right? If it's done to the enemy side as well. Lots going on in this section as well. I kind of think the winning this trial might be how you perform in the balancing act of keeping Doctor Doom and Morgan Le Fay healthy and with cooldowns up going from node to node to node. Likely Doom obviously heals himself and Morgan Le Fay has great self-healing, so that doesn't seem like an impossible task, which is why I think it will be the task. And finally, the Brawler Tag. The Brawler Tag I was staring at, I think, for about an hour before we made this video, or what felt like an hour. Oh my god, this is so cool. This is such a cool tag. So, we have the Miss Marvel team that you could do, right? Where Miss Marvel with a bunch of hero brawlers and or Young Avenger allies. She'll do an assist now every single turn. So you end up going in there with Miss Marvel and 4 hero brawler allies. And let's just be real here. Quicksilver is a hero, and Red Hulk is a hero, and Val is a hero. So Miss Marvel with those 3, plus maybe a Shang-Chi for a little bit of healing, or maybe a Death Pool so she can one-shot people every 5th ultimate, or whatever the case may be. Her getting charges. If you bring in Gwenpool too, she's going to get a charge every turn. Like, there's so much going on here. And then, of course, there is the cheat code. I just hope the trial isn't balanced around people having him, because then we're so screwed. But yeah, there's a Super Skrull. I almost think there might be an enemy Super Skrull. And yeah, we're going to use Deathpool to one-shot him. That's kind of what I think about. Chavez gives hero brawlers extra health. So that's a thing too. Thanks for bringing that up, Jutsi. Star-Lord Annihilation and Infinity War Thor, like, maybe we'll use them in the same way we use Titania and Moonstone in the Nova trial. Like, I don't think they have any self-healing, though, the way Titania and Moonstone do. Could be wrong. Oh, I am wrong. He heals. I don't know if Star-Lord heals. But it could be that we end up utilizing these characters as well just because they're crazy stats and like the defense down on his ultimate and stuff like that. So the Brawler Tag, I think we might make 4 teams out of this. And of course, Black Cat can be subbed in after you unlock her. That's really interesting as well. Getting a stun team, a partial Wakanda team like Black Panther 1,000,000, throwing defense down all over the place, and then maybe you go in with Gamora, you get a bunch of resets. Like, if there's a Hela and Gamora can go in there and use her special on the Greg to get a reset, and there's Death Pool, so every time Greg dies, she's popping off, and you're getting speed because you have Black Panther, so you keep killing Gregs, and Death Pool keeps popping off, but you keep killing, like, this section could be so cool. I hope they don't drop the ball and make it super vanilla, and I really hope they don't flub the traits or the packs and we have a repeat of Nova. At the time of recording this, we don't have playtest access. The trial is super far away. I promise you this. If they give us playtest access, I will test every single Scourge. And if anything is broken, I will try and get them to not put it into the game broken. Because that made it a miserable experience for everybody. When I think it's supposed to be one of the most fun experiences in Marvel Strike Force, these legendary events, the way they are now, not the way they were. So I'm super excited about this. Let me know in the comment sections below how excited you guys are for this trial. Black Cat, arena character, obviously people are going to go super hard for this. How you feeling about these traits? Do you have your teams built up for this? Are you so far behind and you're just blown away that you need to build up brawlers at this point? Yeah, do it, Scopely. Let us test this. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Stay happy, healthy, and have fun. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye for now. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.